Ariana Carter was only 7. Yet she already knew what fear tasted like. It was the tightness in her chest each morning, the rush of dread as she approached the school gates, the desperate hope that maybe today the bullies would ignore her. But fear had a habit of finding her anyway, and one morning, clutching her backpack straps with trembling fingers, Ariana decided she couldn't face it alone anymore. That day, she would ask strangers, big, tattooed bikers, to walk her to school. She never imagined what they would do next, or how they would change her entire life. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and brave hearts, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Light of Kindness right now. Your support helps spread love and courage to the world. Ariana lived with her single mom, Isabel, in a small rental home on the edge of town. The sun was shining softly through the curtains that morning, but inside Ariana's heart, storms rumbled. She shuffled around the kitchen as her mom prepared toast, trying to hide the bruise. Look in her eyes, the look of a child who had cried herself to sleep again. Isabel noticed, but she was exhausted, working 2 jobs just to keep everything afloat. She placed a gentle hand on Ariana's cheek, silently pleading for the truth she feared to hear. Ariana forced a smile, but the truth lay heavy inside her. The older kids at school, boys nearly twice her size, called her names, shoved her, and laughed at her glasses. Yesterday they ripped her sketchbook apart, destroying drawings of butterflies she had spent weeks on. Ariana felt invisible to everyone except those who wanted to hurt her. Walking to school had become the hardest part. She would trudge along the sidewalk, head down, flinching at every sound. The school bus passed her each day, splashing dust and laughter she wasn't part of. After the torn sketchbook incident, Ariana decided something needed to change. She couldn't bear another morning alone. That's when she saw them. Roaring down the street were a group of bikers, leather jackets, shiny chrome, loud engines that thundered like lions. The ground felt like it trembled beneath their wheels. Most people crossed the street or looked away, frightened by their tough appearance. But Ariana saw something more. The lion tattoos, the metal chains, those weren't scary to her. They were powerful. They looked like the kind of people no bully would dare mess with. And maybe, just maybe, they would help her. As they stopped at a small roadside cafe for coffee, Ariana paused at the crosswalk, shaking all over. Her knees felt like jelly. She remembered what her teacher said once: bravery isn't loud. Sometimes it's just doing what scares you most. So, with all the strength she had left, she walked toward them. The bikers didn't notice her at first, giant figures towering over her tiny frame. One of them, a man with a long gray beard and arms covered in stories told through ink, finally spotted the little girl. His name was Hawk. He knelt down so he wasn't towering above her. Ariana could barely speak, her voice quivering as she whispered that she wanted to ask for help, and when she finally told them that she just needed someone to walk her to school so she felt safe, the huge man's eyes softened in a way she never expected. The other bikers listened: Duke, Bear, Sparks, and Rhodey, each of them hot on the outside but suddenly tender as they heard about the bullying. Hawk placed his big hand gently over Ariana's tiny one and told her something she would remember forever. No one should walk through fear alone. So they gave her their promise. The next morning, the entire town witnessed a sight they would never forget. The sun shone brighter than it had in weeks as Ariana stood in front of her house pink backpack on her shoulders, surrounded by roaring motorcycles. Each biker wore his vest proudly, patches representing brotherhood and resilience. They walked beside Ariana like a protective wall, keeping her safe from every glance that might ever hurt her again. People watched in awe, some stunned, others smiling, all wondering what incredible story had led to this moment. When Ariana reached the school entrance, the bullies who once laughed at her were suddenly silent. They stood frozen, eyes wide, swallowed by fear they had once forced onto someone else. Hawk gave Ariana a reassuring nod, reminding her she was not alone. She walked through those gates taller than she ever had before. That day, no one touched her. No one even dared whisper. She talked about fear, about being small in a big world, about how even the strongest hearts can feel broken. And then she said the words that brought tears streaming down every face in the room. Sometimes all you need is one brave moment, one person to stand with you. And when people protect each other, the bad stops winning. The room erupted in applause. Hawk gently lifted Ariana up so the crowd could see her properly, and for the first time in her life she felt not just safe, but powerful. From that day forward, Ariana's story spread far beyond her school and town. People everywhere were inspired by her courage and by the men who saw the heart of a hero inside a trembling little girl. Ariana continued to walk to school with her biker family, maybe not every day now, because she no longer needed protection, but because they had become a part of her joy. Years later, she still keeps a picture framed on her bedside table, herself in the middle, beaming, surrounded by her leather-vested guardians. On the bottom is a quote handwritten by Hawk: "Courage is contagious. Thanks for starting the chain." Ariana learned that kindness can rise from the most unexpected places. Sometimes angels wear metal and leather instead of wings. Sometimes family is chosen by the bond of bravery rather than blood. And sometimes the smallest voices spark the greatest change. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Light of Kindness. Your support helps spread stories that remind us compassion still exists in our world. Special request: comment kindness wins if you believe every child deserves to feel safe. And remember, true heroes are the ones who make the weak feel strong again.